My dear friends, we wish to continue with our reflections on the experience of mysticism. Mysticism is one of the aspects of human life. Perhaps we are totally oblivious about it. Self-knowledge is said to be the best knowledge. And we spend a lot of time, energy, resources in knowing our own selves. And we have disciplines like anthropology, philosophy, psychology, medicine, and many other sciences that are meant to know our own selves. We can know ourselves at the level of our body, at the level of our mind faculties. And then we can know ourselves also at the level of mystical experience. Perhaps most of us who want to know ourselves and want to know others try to know only at the level of the body and its faculties, namely the five senses, the motor organs, and other aspects of our exterior life. And we also try to know our mind and its faculties, namely intellect, imagination, memory, and the will. And we try to grow in it, improve in it, bring a certain quality of life at the level of our body, the level of our mind. Think, for example, how much time, resources we spend to grow in knowledge. That is to say, to grow at the level of our mind. And that is good. We should do that. Not only as human beings, even as religious beings, we need to do that. But don't we have yet another level, namely mystical level? How many of us are aware of it at all? Leave alone paying attention to it and trying to grow in it, perhaps we are totally oblivious about it. And I would like to share with you this third level of human existence. I said in the beginning, self-knowledge is the best knowledge. I repeat again, and you would agree with me. Self-knowledge is the best knowledge. Should my self-knowledge be consisting only of the knowledge of the body and its faculties, namely the senses, and the motor organs, and the desires and the passions? Should I be content only by sustaining my body, growing in my body, protecting my body? If I am to be content with that, what do the animals do? Don't they do just that? How am I better than animals? By this I do not mean that we must neglect our body. We must take care of our body and all its aspects of the body. And today we pay much attention to the growth of our mind, growth in knowledge, in intellect, imagination, memory, and the will. That's done well. But it is necessary to be aware that we have yet another aspect of our life, namely the mystical experience. I am trying to open up this aspect of human life. However, in order to understand that, we should also know our life at the level of the body. Just to bring a contrast between our life at the level of the body, or our knowledge at the level of the body, or at the level of the mind, and the mystical knowledge, then we will understand the mystical experience better. In view of that, I wish to share with you certain aspects the nature of our experience at the level of the body. We gather experience in the body through our senses. These senses are, as it were, windows of our experience, of our knowledge. If any one of these senses is missing, we will not have the knowledge and the experience specific to it. For example, when a child is born blind, that child will not have any idea of color or experience of color. When another person is deaf, totally deaf from birth, that person may not have any idea of sound or experience of sound. In other words, the body or our person at the level of the body gathers knowledge, gathers experience through the senses. It's therefore necessary that we promote the health of the senses. But it has its own limitations. Our experience through the senses is the experience of the things without. By this I mean, with my eyes, we see a rose, for example, or a white dove, another example, or a snake, or a lion. We see things outside. With the senses, we do not see things within. And when we see things, actually we are not in touch with things. It's the impression of the things that is printed in our retina when we see it. And then the rest of the process goes on. The special aspect of this is, whenever we are in touch with the things outside through our faculty of the senses, they create a certain impression of attraction or repulsion. For example, when I see a beautiful rose, I am attracted to it. When I see a dead body, I am repulsed from it. I don't like it. So when we apply our senses to the things outside, in view of experience or in view of knowledge, or it happens to be, we experience either attraction or repulsion, or maybe neither of them we experience, because we have not applied intentionally ourselves to that thing. And this process goes on every day of our life, in every person, in you and in me. And that is good. That protects our life, promotes our life. We need to discern between attraction and repulsion. What is good is to be attracted, received. What is bad is to be done away with. Now, when what we experience, what we see, what we hear is attractive, we have a certain joy, certain degree of joy, and we desire to have it. An example, when I see a beautiful rose, colorful rose, very nice, with nice aromatic smell, we are attracted to it. We desire that rose. And we like to have that rose, because that attraction and its experience gives pleasure, gives delight. We want to have that delight. In other words, when we have sense knowledge, when the knowledge of the thing is attractive experience, we have delight. And in view of the delight, we desire to have it. When the thing is not attractive but repulsive, we do not try to apply our faculties, and we don't have delight, and therefore we try to avoid it. Now, according to the attraction and the delight we suck from it, we try to act. Now, in the things of the world outside, there might be things which are delightful to the senses, to the body. This can happen in our life. For example, for a drunkard, A bottle of liquor may be attractive, but it is not good for him. There are many things in life which may be delightful, which may be attractive, but they are not good. And we have the faculty of the will, which dictates that though the things which we see or experience is attractive, is delightful, it is not good. So on the one hand, our will says that it is not good and therefore I should not meddle in that. I should not take it. And on the other hand, because of the delight and desire, we want to take it. Another example, let's speak of the same rose. When the rose is beautiful, we like it, we desire it, we want to have it, we stretch our hand and try to take it. Then our consciousness and our will says that it is belonging to somebody else and I should not take it. So on the one hand, there is attraction and we try to indulge in it. And on the other hand, though there is attraction, our conscience says, our will says that we should not indulge in it. All the same, sometimes we indulge in things that are not lawful, precisely because they are delightful. And thus, our moral life gets degenerated. Our life of discipline gets degenerated. For example, a student, he has to study for his exams. But then it implies a sacrifice. He does not like to do that sacrifice. That is repulsive to him. And therefore he does not study. So then, when we go only according to attraction and repulsion, it's possible that we commit mistake. It is necessary that we need to have the right goal before us and follow the decision of the will or the decision of the conscience, and not just attraction and delight. We are dealing with this in view of mystical experience. Now, mystical experience is felt in our spirit, not in the senses, not in the intellect, in our spirit. What we experience in the senses has certain dimensions. That is perceptual, perceived by the senses. What you understand with our intellect is conceptual, is based on concepts. But what we experience in mysticism is spiritual, far above the sense experience, far above the experience in the intellect. Now, in order to grow in the knowledge experience of the mystical experience, we need to attune our sense experience, attune our intellectual experience to the experience of the spirit. In view of that, we need to know how we experience at the level of the senses and at the level of the spirit. It's therefore, I would like to share with you how our senses function so that we may attune our ordinary sense experience, day-to-day sense experience, in view of a mystical experience. I said that in sense experience, we may have attraction or repulsion, delight or disgust. The spirit, on the other hand, deals with this what is proper to it. Since I am dealing with mysticism, religious mysticism, what is proper to religious mysticism is the mystery of God. And the mystery of God does not have perceptual experience of the senses. We cannot understand the mystery of God through our senses. We cannot understand the mystery of God through our intellect. We need to accommodate the senses and the intellect to the mystery of God. What is delightful to the senses may not be attuned to the mystery of God. When a person indulges in something immoral, something not right, something unjust, of course a person may get delight, momentary delight, but is not in tune with the mystery of God. So then, every one of us is called to make a choice. When a person is offered delight in the sense experience, either in seeing, or by hearing, or by touching, or by smelling, or by tasting, or in the sense of motor organs, when a person is offered delight, and this happens in our everyday life, that person must see whether that delight is in tune with the mystery of God. If that delight is not in tune with the mystery of God, that person must not indulge in it. Why? Because the delight which we get through the senses is nowhere, is much less compared to the joy, peace in the mystery of God. Perhaps to the senses, initially it may not be appealing, but in view of that experience, namely experience of the mystery of God, if a person subordinates, accommodates the senses to the mystery of God, meaning in spite of the delight which he may suck or take from the sense experience, because it is not moral, because it is not in tune with the mystery of God, because it is not in tune with the Spirit, if he does not indulge in it, gradually the senses become attuned to the Spirit. An example, when a person is inclined to take a drink, alcoholic drink, and becomes drunkard, but he knows that alcohol does not help him, and therefore he desists from taking alcohol. Slowly he becomes sober, and he gets the strength and courage not to desist from taking alcohol. On the one hand, he overcomes his weakness taking alcohol, and on the other hand, he gets the strength, moral strength, willpower, character to be sober in life. Thirdly, his life itself gets attuned to something higher, not just a sense experience from the delight of taking alcohol, something higher, not only from the delight of what is proper to the intellect, but to the spirit. There is a third level of experience. There is a third level of knowledge. That's the knowledge of the Spirit. I said it before. Apart from the knowledge we gather from the senses and motor organs, apart from the knowledge which we gather from the intellect, imagination, memory, and the affection we experience in the will, there is the insight, knowledge, enlightenment we can gather in the Spirit. Now, in order to gather that, the sense experience must be subordinated or attuned to the Spirit. So also the intellect must be subordinated to and attuned to the Spirit. This means when there is a conflict between sense experience and sense delight on the one hand, and on the other, enlightenment of by the Spirit, we must be courageous enough, generous enough to subordinate sense experience to the Spirit. As I said before, a person wanting to take alcohol and indulge in it, he knows that if he indulges in it, though he may have certain amount of delight, certain degree of delight while he takes it, but then he does not become sober. Similarly, a person who indulges in immoral life, he may have certain sensuous pleasure, but then that destroys his life in the course of time. So therefore, he must be able to attune his sensual life to the life of the Spirit. This implies a mystical discipline. At the first level, we need to have this mystical discipline at our sense experience, in our body, in our senses, in our eyes, in our hearing, in our touch, smell and taste. These are the windows or the doors of our experience. If we keep a safe guard on that, at that level, unwanted experience will not enter our spirit. It will be easier for us to have the experience of the Spirit, experience of God. It is necessary, absolutely necessary, that we live a disciplined life at the level of our body. Discipline does not mean just drilling, but bring our senses, 5 senses, Panchendriya, bring our motor organs, Karmendriya, 5 motor organs, our desires, all these things in tune with the Spirit. This implies a certain degree of sacrifice. Initially, because we don't experience the Spirit and what is proper to the Spirit, because it is not perceptual to the senses, because we cannot gather with our intellect, perhaps what is appealing to the senses may be easier for us. And that's why we tend to indulge in something what is contrary to the Spirit, yet giving delight in the senses. We need to have a certain disciplined life at the level of the senses. Only then our senses will be attuned to the Spirit, and we may be able to experience mystical contemplation. Our Lord Himself said, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Our senses, our body, our senses are weak. And therefore, they are not easily, their attraction, their desires are not easily overcome. We need to have a disciplined life. Thank you very much. We'll see you again later.